what comes next. So these copies of the Masahif are called al-Masahif al-Uthmaniyya, or the Uthmani Masahif. So when I mentioned that, it's referring to these copies made under the supervision of Uthman radiallahu anhu. They collectively preserve all the different ahruf, which I said multiple times. And so that now nothing of the Mus'haf is lost. Again, now this point is a huge difference in timeline compared to a different interpretation of ahruf. So that's why I wanted to solidify the understanding of Ibn al-Jazari, because it'll change a little bit of interpretation of the timeline. So this timeline goes with the timeline of Ibn al-Jazari, how his understanding, or basically he articulated the understanding of the scholars of his time and before, and this is their interpretation of what happened at the time of Masahif al-Uthmaniyya, okay? He's not the only one, again. He's just verbalizing what multiple other scholars said, but in different wording. Okay. Now these Masahif Uthmaniyya, a reminder, they were, as the Mushaf al-Siddiqi was, and as the original scriptures were, they were all void of vowel symbols. So no tashkil. Vowel symbols, by that I mean fatha, dhamma, kasra, sukun, from any markings. Okay, I'm gonna say what markings include. So the Masahif al-Uthmaniyya, just like the copies it was made from, they were all void of any dots or any markings other than the skeletal letters. Okay, what are these markings I mentioned? The markings include the dots, like the ta, tha, noon, like the ones that distinguish fatathabbatu from fatabayyanu. No dots, they're identical in form. They're including the numbers of the ayahs, ayah number 1, number 2, number 3. The little symbol for the hamza, that's the head of the ayn, that symbol, that was not invented yet. It was invented about 2 centuries later. The sajda sign, right? The line on or above the word with the sajda sign outside the box, that was not in the Masahif. Even the names of surahs, okay, surah names, juz' indicators, all of that was not included in any of the Masahif Uthmaniyya, nor was it in the Mushaf al-Siddiqi, nor was it in what was scribed in front of the Prophet ﷺ. All of these that I mentioned here were added later. Allah will mention them in our timeline. Although I haven't included the surah numbers, but inshallah I'll work on that this weekend, inshallah, so that next week we have quite a few new slides to present to you, inshallah. Okay, so here's the word Malik and Malik. Oh, we're here. We're inshallah, we're going to answer the question, inshallah ta'ala. So, if a word with a variant harf would be scribed using, could be scribed using one word, that is how it was often written, such as Malik or Malik. So the Mim Lam Kaf in Surah Al-Fatiha, the word Malik or Malik, depending on how now the Quran has reached us through different qira'at. Inshallah, I don't want you to think too much about what qira'at are, but we know with 100% authenticity and no doubt, basically, that the Prophet ﷺ recited Surah Al-Fatiha, this ayah, Maliki Yawmiddin and Maliki Yawmiddin. He recited it both ways. So they are a harf, okay? So the word Malik and Malik is considered a harf, as in they are different. The word Malik and Malik are a harf, so that meaning that this word has a variation occurring in it. The variation is it will be recited with Malik or it will be recited with Malik. Okay, so that's the reciting, that's the verbalization, that's the utterance. Now remember, we mentioned at the beginning of our class where sometimes the Arab would just omit the alif from the middle of a word, and we looked at when we looked at the manuscript that had Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and we said, how do we write the word Allah today? We omit the alif in the word Allah. How do you write the word ar-Rahman today? We omit the alif in ar-Rahman. That's common. That was common usage. That was their common spelling system. So it was common for the word Malik to actually be written without the alif. So the Mim Lam Kaf, this form represents two ways of utterance, Malik and Malik. And that's how it was scribed. It was scribed like that in front of the Prophet ﷺ, Mim, Lam, Kaf. But it was recited by the Prophet ﷺ, Malik or Malik, depending on the Sahaba, depending on the harf that he is reciting. Which variation is he teaching this Sahabi? He might teach Malik to one Sahabi, and he might teach the other variation in this word to another Sahabi, which is Malik, Malik, Malik. But both would be represented with Mim, Lam, Kaf. So the scholars studying al-Masahif al-Uthmaniyya make this the note. Usually this is the first thing they talk about. They say, we noticed that whenever possible, one word can represent two variations, that one word is the one chosen. Versus, what's the opposite of this possibility? The opposite is that because there are two utterances, two variations in this word, Malik and Malik, the other option would be scribing it twice, once with Mim, Lam, Kaf, and another time Mim, Alif, Lam, Kaf. But the scholars say that's not what happened. That's not what that was represented in the Qur'an. What was written in front of the Prophet ﷺ, copied to the Mushaf al-Siddiqi, copied to the Mushaf al-Uthmaniyya, is whenever possible, if one way of writing a word can contain the different variations, then that one way would be the chosen way. In this case, it had to be the Mim, Lam, Kaf. Why? If it's scribed as Mim, Alif, Lam, Kaf, it prohibits and prevents the Mim, Lam, Kaf utterance or recitation or way of pronouncing. Versus if it's scribed as Mim, Lam, Kaf, it contains both possibilities. It can be read Malik and also Malik, because that's how the Arabs used to write the words. I hope this idea has come across to some degree. Okay, I know that this has caused a lot of questions. So let me start with Brother Amin's, what you've wrote, and then I'll choose you to speak. And then I see Sister Najia has a question. I think she sent it privately. So Brother Amin, you wrote, could it be possible that they are called ahruf because a harf can mean a difference? Yes, 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 exactly. That's what I've been trying to say, but maybe not as eloquently as you. Yes, that's the meaning of ahruf. Ahruf means ikhtilafat in that context. Of course, the word ahruf can mean different things. One of the meanings of ahruf means differences. Yes. So actually the better, inshallah, if we're going by the interpretation of Ibn al-Jazari, inshallah, an accurate translation of ahruf would be difference or variation. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Okay, so let's see. Brother Amin, I need you to rewrite my slides, inshallah, for next time in your eloquent manner, mashallah. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Sister Najia says the name of Siddiq, was it because it was written in the khilafah of Abu Bakr? Yes. The Mushaf is called Mushaf al-Siddiqi because Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was the Khalifa who, under his command, that Mushaf was compiled. Okay, proof of Ibn al-Jazari, yes. Ibn al-Jazari, yes, there's a reason, subhanAllah, he's the top scholar in this, and that his opinion is really considered the strongest. And it's, again, it's not his only opinion. It's the majority of the scholars of his time and before him. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, Brother Ali, if you agree to let me study, if I agree to let you study with me, it would be an honor. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah khairan. That's because you're so humble. Allah barak feekum. Okay, so that's talking about Malik and Malik and why we find it scribed as Malik. Basically, the scholars said it was a choice, an educated choice, wallahu a'lam, of the Sahaba with the blessing of Allah. This is like the word and repeated in a lot of the books, including Ibn al-Jazari. توفيق من الله للصحابة في اختيار الرسم. So what does that mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his guidance, guided the Sahaba to choose the correct or the best way of representing the words, such as the choice of scribing Mim Lam Kaf to represent both Malik and Malik. Wallahu a'lam. Okay,